This is really the first of a number of hearings to explore the waste and abuse that is rampant in the pharmaceutical industry. Few industries are so zealous in doing all they can to prevent competition. Few are so overpaid, and few have invested so effectively in this Congress to maintain their privileged position and to avoid the slightest accountability. All of this has to be considered in connection with Trump's DOGE attack on science, on research, on the Food and Drug Administration, and the National Institutes of Health. He is not eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse there, but rather settling old scores, accepting ludicrous conspiracy theories, and building a body count of how many public servants he can fire. The health of our nation will suffer from this wrongdoing. Consumers will be paying even more for less as innovative research is decimated by this recent Trump-Musk rampage. With no explanation provided, for example, support was abruptly terminated for the groundbreaking vial research that has been conducted by award-winning scientist Dr. Jason McClellan and his team at the University of Texas in Austin. Called one Monday and told their project ended the next Monday with no explanation. Elsewhere, funds have been cut for clinical trials upon which patients rely in seeking life-saving cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, and more. And exports, of course, have been removed randomly from the FDA and the NIH that are essential participants in the development and approval of new therapies, all thanks to DOGE's abrupt layoffs in a disgraceful display designed to humiliate dedicated public servants. Many turned away without any prior notice as they arrived at work. After being forced out from his role overseeing vaccine development and approval at the FDA, Dr. Peter Marks shed light on that shattered agency. He said, quote, "It has become clear that truth and transparency are not desired by the Secretary, but rather he wishes subservient confirmation of his misinformation and lies." Taxpayers fund, of course, most innovative research. Every new drug approved from 2010 to 2019 was developed with some taxpayer funding. And while the early stage basic research is critical and what we often think of in terms of the public investment, taxpayers are often called upon to fund late-stage development and clinical trials. The newly approved drugs with the highest clinical value are rooted in taxpayer funding. And these innovative treatments, like Sandy for prostate cancer, which was almost solely developed with public funding, PrEP treatments to prevent HIV infections, gene therapies to treat cancer, and so much more. And of course, the DOGE approach looks only at the spending side and totally ignores the real waste and abuse that grows out of the tax scam that was so proudly approved in this committee in 2017. In the year 2023, for example, Pfizer, Merck, and Johnson & Johnson paid nothing in corporate taxes, though each made tens of billions of dollars in revenue while charging America so much more than consumers in any other country and repeatedly spiking prices. We should be eliminating the many tax loopholes that allow Big Pharma to avoid paying for the national security upon which it relies. Closing tax dodging loopholes that allow them to offshore profits, write off their aggressive advertising expenses, and further enrich themselves by spending more on stock buybacks and dividends than in innovative research and development. For a handful of drugs, prices will be somewhat lower next year thanks to the Democratic legislation finally providing a very narrow Medicare negotiation program. At least we hope that happens, though Big Pharma is throwing everything at it that it can to block that. Instead of ignoring the outlandish drug prices with which Americans are being ripped off, we should be eliminating lengthy delays before a drug is eligible for negotiation, ensuring prices are negotiated on drugs with limited competition, and extending the benefits of negotiation to all Americans, including the uninsured, not just those covered by Medicare. And of course, the latest disastrous Trump adventure in incompetence is called Liberation Day, which is liberating thousands of dollars from the wallets of Americans through Trump tariff taxes, threatening the future of so many small businesses with soaring costs and playing golf while the markets have lost, since he came into office, about $11 trillion. 6 or 7 just last week. The pharmaceutical industry is apparently exempted from these tariff taxes initially, but he's promised they're coming. The only thing that will be accomplished by taxing pharmaceuticals with tariffs will be to make the world's most expensive medications for Americans even more expensive and out of reach. We do indeed need a true liberation day, a day when my colleagues finally liberate themselves from Big Pharma's stranglehold over this Congress.